My friends, I have been dreading making this video. Hello everybody, it's me coming at you. And as you can see, a lot has changed since the last time we spoke. What has happened has been the unthinkable. I've been devastated and been putting off talking about this because it's still really hard for me to talk about. For everybody who's new, welcome. This was my channel for semi-freeform dreadlocks. I had gray hair in the front and I was documenting the challenges and different things that were happening with my semi-freeform locks. But as you can see now, I no longer have semi-freeform locks. I ended up having to cut them off. So what I'm going to do in this video is at first I'm going to talk about what happened, why I had to cut my locks off. And then I'm going to talk about what this is, how did I get here, how did I do this? And then I am going to talk about what's next. What are my plans going forward? So, it is with a heavy heart that I have to tell you that I had to cut my locks off. The reason I had to cut them off is because I contracted lice. Yes, I got lice. It was awful. I didn't even know what it was at first. But I know when I mentioned this else places, the main top question that I get from people about that is that I thought black people didn't get lice. I didn't think black people got lice. Nothing could be further from the truth, and I am the living proof of that. Lice is something that lice don't care whether you're black or white or anything. If they get in your hair and they get stuck in there, they are there and it has to be treated. And when I realized that I had the lice, I had to decide whether or not I was going to try to fight the lice with my locks, because it took me 4.5 years to grow my locks the way they were. But I just said, you know what? Game is over. Game over. Once I got lice in my hair, even if I was able to kill them all and get rid of them all, now I've got dead lice carcasses in my hair, dead nits or whatever. I did not want that. After that, my locks are corrupt, so I had to cut them off. It was awful. Oh, I had to wait for the lice medication to come. And what I did was I used a natural product that everyone said completely works. And this did. This is something called Lice Combat. This bottle, most of the lice treatments that I saw online came in really small bottles like this. They were $15. And if you have thick or heavy hair or something like that, you'd have to use more. You know, this was like $25, $26. And this was supposedly to have enough to treat your hair like 4 times or treat the whole family. Man, I saturated my whole head with this. I put this on my head. It's basically just a cream. I put it on my head. I put a shower cap over it. I slept with it on, and then I washed it out, and then I did it again because I really wanted these things gone. I had to treat my whole house and get rid of the lice, and this did it. This did the trick. So if it ever happens to you, remember this stuff. This is called Lice Combat. It is very natural. It's not tested on animals. It's really a good product. So it definitely worked for me in getting rid of the lice. But what had happened was I had to cut them off. Now, how did I get lice? And why is it that there's this thing about how black people aren't supposed to get lice? You know, there is some truth to it. Lice can be caught by everyone, but it happens much more rare in more textured hair. And no one really knows quite why, but they suspect that it's because people with textured hair use oil in their hair regularly. We oil our scalp, coconut oil, different oils, and they feel like the oil acts as a deterrent. it's not a foolproof thing. You can still get lice if you use oil in your hair, but you are less likely to be able to, they are much less likely to be able to really stick when you have the oil in there. And if you remember from some of my past videos, I was using oil in my hair, but then I stopped using it. I wasn't using the oil because the oil was trapping moisture in my locks, and the moisture was growing mold, and I would get bad smells. So I gave myself an apple cider vinegar rinse, and then I stopped using oils altogether. I wasn't bothering with them. And I believe that's probably what made my hair more susceptible to getting lice. How do you pick up lice? Honestly, I don't know where I got it, but there are several places. I mean, I barely ever left the house except to go to medical appointments. I could have picked it up on the bus ride to the hospital. Somebody might have sat in the seat that I sat there previously that had lice. And some of it was on the chair, and I picked it up in my hair, my locks. Could have been that, somebody I saw that I hadn't seen in a while gave me a hug. Our heads touched. That person had lice. Maybe didn't know they had lice, and I picked it up. Or you could be wearing a coat. You go somewhere, you hang your coat up in the closet, and your coat is hanging next to someone else's coat that has lice. And you take it down and put it on, you're none the wiser. And then next thing you know, you've got a bad case of it. So those are the ways that you can catch lice. I don't know how I picked it up. It could have been any of those things, because those are all things that I've done. I've ridden on a bus. I've sat in waiting rooms. I had to go to the dentist. I hung my coat up in the closet. I could have picked it up anywhere. But I just wanted them gone. I wanted them gone. I didn't want to fool around by trying to saturate my locks with, $60 worth of, medicine. So I just said, you know what? I'm just going to cut it off and be done with it. And that treatment took care of it. So there it was. And I was bereft, because the locks were the happiest I'd ever been. I really felt like I was in a true manifestation of the person that I really am, and that my hair finally represented who I was. And to have to cut that off, it was just really devastating. So, in an effort to kind of help myself cope with it, I remember I used to see people who had their TWAs, and they would bleach them out and dye them really fun colors. They would be purple, they would be different colors. And I just thought, you know what? I've always sort of wanted to experiment with that, wanted to know what it was like, see what I would look like, see if I could pull it off, so that I wouldn't just go down a downward spiral of depression. I thought I'd sort of make fun out of it and just say, hey, let's see what I can do. So what I did at first was I bleached it and turned it purple. I dyed my hair purple. Actually, not so much purple, but periwinkle. I found this online. This is a door. I don't know if you can see that, if it'll focus, but this stuff right here, this is what I used. It is called Periwinkle, and it was number 197. Very cheap. I think it was under $5 for this. And what I did was, after I bleached my hair, I took some of this, because this is really, really dark, actually. I'll open it up. Really dark. I took some of this, and I mixed it with this conditioner. This is the Mielle Deep Conditioner. I bought it because it was like it had a peppermint smell to it, because peppermint's my favorite fragrance. And I mixed some of this together, and that's what I did to get the purple. Now, it's not purple now. That has since washed out. But at one time, my hair was really, really purple. And I like it better this way, actually. So that is what I did. In order to bleach my hair, what I did was let me see. I had so much stuff to buy, because with the locks, I didn't even own a comb. I didn't own a comb or a brush or conditioner or anything like that. I wasn't doing anything with my hair. So I had to spend lots of money trying to buy things that I could use to take care of this little bit of hair that I had left after I had the big chop. And my hair was actually shorter than this before. It's grown just a little bit, though you can't see. My hair's so coily that the roots still sort of hide underneath. But what I did was, the first week I bleached it with 1 part this and 1 part 20 volume developer. So I mix these. A lot of people have different methods. Someone told me that you were supposed to do half and half. So that's what I did. I did half and half. I put it in my hair, and then I put a plastic cap over it. And after I put the plastic cap on, I put this on my head. This is basically a it's a heating cap. It's what people use to steam their hair. It's basically a heating blanket that goes over your head. And so with the cap on, I put this on. I wore that for 10 minutes while my hair bleached. And then I took it off and let my hair sit under the cap for 10 minutes. And then I washed it out. And I did that 2 weeks apart. And that's when I came up with this brightness here. And then after I got the brightness, I mixed in the colors here so that I could get my steel silver periwinkle color. And, I rocked that for a while, and people raved about it. People said, oh, your hair looks so good, blah, blah, blah. I was so unhappy. I really was, because I missed my locks. I mean, those locks, we were like freaking frack. We grew together, so it was just hard. But I'm starting to feel a little better now, and it was just hard. I didn't know how I was going to come here and face you all and tell you all. So many people joined my page because they wanted to see what was going on, and, it might have inspired you in your own journey and so forth. And, I'm sorry that this whole thing has fallen apart, but, that's what happened. And I'm trying to be straight up and share with you what happened so that you might be able to prevent it from happening to yourselves. So that is what happened, and this is how I coped with it. So what goes on from here? What am I going to do? You know something? I miss my locks, but I kind of like this. I like this. And you know what I'm thinking I might try? I'm going to semi-freeform right away, as soon as I can, So once it grows in, I am going to start sectioning it off. And I think I'm going to do it exactly the same as what it was before. Only I think I'm going to be thicker this time. I'm going to make less locks, and they're going to be thicker than what they were last time. Another thing I've been contemplating is it was so easy for me to get my hair like this that I'm wondering if I might keep it like that with the locks. Grow the locks in, and once they start locking, every maybe 8 weeks, 3 months or whatever, I'll just bleach the roots, and I will grow out a big white lock mane. That's what I'm hoping to try until I burn my hair off and it doesn't work, and I have to go back to what I was doing. But I just thought that we'll make, lemonade out of lemons. That was such a lousy experience that I hope I never have to go through again, and I hope you never experience in your life. But that's what I had to do. And, so this is what happened. This is what I've got. This is where I've landed. And it's starting to grow in already. My hair grows pretty fast. This happened over a month ago, so it's already starting to grow in. I'm going to keep up with this bleaching. I'm going to keep bleaching it, and then once it gets long enough, I'm going to put them into locks, and I'm going to start all over again. That's all you can do. And if it doesn't work, then I'll cut it off and start all over again. I did say that at some point in my future, I wanted to do full freeform. I wasn't going to do anything to it. I was just going to let it lock. But I decided not to do that this time because if I want to keep up with bleaching the roots, I'm going to have to make sure that I have access to them. So I'm not going to be twisting or doing anything like that, but there need to be defined sections so that I could take the pointed end of the applicator and at least get the bleach into the roots so that I can bleach those and let them go. And it seems like my hair is still quite strong. It tolerates the bleach very well. It took the bleach pretty well, and I think it looks really good. I think it does. Not as good as my locks, but this isn't too bad. So, anyway, I just wanted to get on here and finally come clean and let you all know what's going on, what has happened. And, yeah, that's all I've got. What else? Oh, one thing I wanted to say, though. This hairstyle, I blew so much money. I never realized how much money we pour into our hair. Like, when I cut my locks off, I had to order combs. I had to order, conditioners. I had to order the oils and I had to order and I'd forgotten all the stuff that I used to use. And not only that, but the stuff that's out there, everything is so laden with fragrance. Papaya, coconut, vanilla, sugar, ginger. And when you buy all these things, it's just a stinky mess. And my skin is itching just thinking about all those fragrances running down. This is just, awful. Another reason that I really missed my locks. So I had to be very careful in selecting the things that I was going to use in my hair because I don't want to break out in a rash. I don't want to have irritated skin and all that sort of stuff. And all of the stuff, they might be fabulous, wonderful products. But what deters me from using them are the fragrances. If you're using this product and that product and that product, and they all have a different fragrance, I'm not with that. I'm not with all that stuff. So I prefer the more natural approach. And, but I think I might be able to manage it. We'll see what happens. But anyway, if you have any comments or any questions, you can just put the comment down in the comment section and I'll do my best to reach out to you. I want to thank you all so much for staying with me. If you'll brace yourself and stay with me a little bit longer, I'll keep you up to date in what's going on and how things are shaping up. But I'm kind of excited because I'm thinking when the winter comes, I can do a lot with this white hair in the winter, especially when I start out my baby locks. Man, I think that will be a lot of fun. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, you all, I hope you're doing well. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.